Hey guys, the Infinity, what's up? Just gonna run you through some notes. I like to take notes all the time. I'm constantly learning, constantly meditating, constantly going into whatever I can to try and further myself. And basically, I like to further other people too, because that's what I'm dealing with. That's why I'm basically here. When scientists first discovered that the inside of an atom was relatively empty, it just completely blew them away. But everything is actually full of energy, so it's not necessarily empty. That's what they came to find out too with E equals mc squared. Basically everything comes down to energy. That's what everything is. Everything is energy. That's all it is. Everything is everything because everything is energy. Atoms all vibrate at different ranges and different frequencies to make what you would consider a tangible product, a solid, or something that you can grab or perceive with your five primitive senses. But ancient spiritual and esoteric teachers have taught for a long time that matter is truly an illusion, that nothing actually that you see really exists, because what is real? Again, nothing is solid because it's an illusion, because everything that you see and consider solid and tangible and perceivable by the five senses is just a makeup of a group of atoms vibrating at a certain frequency to hold that illusion. For something to change consistency in our physical reality, basically all that has to take place is a change of frequency that particular thing resides at. For example, if you have a glass cup, and you play a frequency to that and you enhance the frequency, you'll start to see that glass cup moving just like a liquid, because truly everything is just something that is at a certain frequency, but everything is the same thing. If that makes any sense, everything is energy. Yeah, that hence is the rise up, wise up, and why everybody's talking about vibrations and rising your vibrations and associating yourself with good, positive vibrations and the energy of love rather than the energy of fear, because those are basically our two primitive main emotions. Everything negative stems off of the fear emotion, hate, jealousy, greed, all those different things, and then everything that stems off of love is positive, right? It's like your happiness and all those different things, and laughter and all that. But basically everything that we know as emotion stems from two primary sources of love or fear. Those are your two main vibrating frequencies of emotions. And the biggest reasons for those who are staying dense and becoming more dense in this reality is nutrition or lack thereof nutrition, and love or lack thereof love. Seeing if I can explain this kind of, because your average human being inside their DNA has 20 activated codons, and that's because that all has to do with the way that energy flows through your DNA. Because again, words and vibrations are all interdimensional. They have a direct play and a direct effect on the way that you are and the way that your genetic makeup, your DNA, is affected by frequencies in words and thoughts, even, because thoughts can be measured as so can words, but they're just different frequencies, different densities. But basically, if you have a row of codons, each placed there, and you have a fear frequency, which is a long drawn out wave, so basically like a long wave like that would continue on. If you have your codons placed like that and your wave of fear comes through, look how many codons in between here that it just skipped, right? Because it went right over that. But if you have your codons placed out there and you're living in a vibrational frequency of love, which is a much quicker vibration, you're more likely to hit more codons. So you will activate possibly all 64 codons, as opposed to living in a fear-based reality and activating your average 20 codons. Basically, like I said, everything comes down to an energy or a sound or a frequency, and that's why in the Bible it actually says, in the beginning was the Word, and God spoke and said, let there be light. In the beginning was the Word. The very first thing that happened was a frequency was attained. A frequency was was emitted, a frequency was attained and emitted throughout the universe or multiverses, things will gather and take shape to different frequencies, and that's essentially what you have replicating itself throughout our whole universe, throughout everything in the 3D world, and everything that is just a sound and vibration, because that's what originally happened. That was the very first thing to happen, was a sound or a vibration or a frequency, and that's everything kind of spiraled off of there. And when you have, like, in India, when people are meditating, they're often chanting Om, and that's the sound of creation. Basically, that's them tapping into that frequency. They want to vibrate on the frequency of creation, because to learn different aspects of different dimensions and different realms, you really have to be on the same vibrational frequency. That's why with Ascension, it's all about raising your vibration to a certain frequency. Otherwise, you just can't. It won't happen for you. It's literally the same thing. What they're doing is they're getting in touch with all that is. Basically, that's the sound of creation, that Om. So they will hold that and they will reside into that. They will move into that frequency. So that's a little bit of an interesting thing about that. And then we have quarks, and when quarks combine, they create composite particles, which the two main ones that most people would know is a proton and a neuron. And we have protons and neurons inside of an atom. So protons, neurons inside of an atom with energy. Then we go, and an atom will combine and bond to create a molecule, and so on and so forth, and it just keeps zooming out, and it keeps zooming out, and then soon you have humans bonding and mating to create a third party known as an infant. And real quickly, when you're having sex, you need to know that you're creating much more than an infant in this dense reality. You're oftentimes creating much more than that. Different matrices and paradigms and thought patterns and thought paradigms can actually be manifested into the dense through sacred sex. If you have that thought happening, and then you have the cosmic orgasm acting as a catalyst to transmute that energy from a denseness to a certain other density, you can actually change a thought paradigm or manipulate the matrix on a certain level where it creates itself. And that's really what that's all about. Anyways, the fractal continues inwardly as it continues outwardly, and eventually we have huge rocks floating in a vast surprise space that we call planets and space, or outer space. And even from there, the fractal will continue. It's as within, so without, as above, so below. There's outer space, but there's inner space. You see what I'm saying? The fractal continues in both ways, in both directions, all the time, and it's forever expansive. So we keep zooming out, the fractal continues, our universe goes into multiverses, and our universe zoomed out actually looks and reflects that image of almost an exact image of what your brain cell actually looks like under a microscope. So that which is only a nanometer wide, something that you have to, you know how much you have to zoom in to see a nanometer? Something which is a nanometer wide. Our universe is an exact reflection of a brain cell. A brain cell is 1 nanometer wide. Our universe is billions of light years. So where the hell are we, really? You know what I'm saying? So now, I need you to take that information, and when you're meditating, basically go into the vastness that is, or the vastness that isn't, however you look at it, because things get hectic and crazy, and everything comes down to perception. Nothing is empty, because everything is full of energy. There is no half glass, the glass is half full, half empty situation. The glass is always full of energy. You are always full of energy. You are an energetic being. Don't let the density get you. Essentially, the whole universe is in your glass. The whole universe is inside of you. You are the universe. It just keeps going. Fractals, man. Fractalization. you basically have your own pyramid power yourself, but you've slowly been shut down like a fine-tuned machine that's been covered in rust and gunk and hasn't been used or treated well in ages. And a lot of that just comes again down to food, because I mean, genetically modified food will genetically modify you. It comes down to behavior, it comes down to attitude, it comes down to what you know, it's all about lifestyle. What frequencies are you living in? And that's just 100% gonna affect the way that you are. Stay grounded. And if you ever feel an unwanted energy around you, don't ask or call for protection, because it will just let that energy know that you are not capable of protecting yourself. Instead, project a light shield and just project a light shield. Use a universal command, what some people would even call spells, but they're just universal commands because you have to tap into your unconscious part of the grid. We're all making up this matrix together. But only those who tap into it can really have fun with it and manipulate it the way that they want it to be. So instead of calling for protection, shield yourself. Use a universal command to install your own signature, your own energy signature into the collective thought paradigm matrix that is. It was actually found through an experiment called the phantom DNA experiment, that when you have particles of light exposed to DNA, the particles, or the photons, and the photons or light and the phonon sound will actually stick itself to the DNA, the outside of the DNA, and when you remove the DNA, you actually are left with an exoskeleton type of situation made of complete light, which is fantastic. It's basically a light body of DNA, because light is attracted to your DNA and guards it, and literally it literally shields around your DNA. And even when you remove the DNA, it's still there. It's an exoskeleton of light. Your DNA is an antenna for vibrations. So careful what you're tuning yourself into. Your emotions directly affect your DNA, which in turn directly molds the world and your perception of the universe, and that will just keep expansively fractaling outward, and you will just create what you experience. You are a creator god. And that's basically all this comes down to. Create your world and stop sitting around. And it's funny because like this stuff, scientists are just like going hard right now into what a lot of occultists have known for a long time, or been curious about for a long time. And I know when I say occultist, there's a lot of people who get a bad taste in their mouth still, but occult just means that which is hidden from plain sight. And now we're in the age of Aquarius, so the information age. Everything's coming to light now. You know what I'm saying? We're bringing that hidden stuff to plain sight. We're bringing the knowledge from the darkness into the light. But people can show you things all they want, but it's up to you to really open your eyes, or to really understand and grasp and overstand and understand everything that happens. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. It's your journey. It's not about me, it's about you. It's not about me, it's about you. This is your journey. Take care of it. Start creating it. Go out there. Have fun with it. This is your world. Take it back. This is your world. Take it back. Peace out, guys. Love.